right now. Democrats have controlled the White House for 12 of the last 16 years. And for all of the talk about division and the problems in the country and people are hurting, Democrats have mostly controlled this country. Trump had it for 4. The Obamas and Biden had it for the rest of the time. And somehow, it's still all Trump's fault.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. We have officially wrapped up day 2 of the DNC. You don't need to clap. I'll clap.
I'm clapping. You don't have to. It's a happy day. What can I say?
I am going to give you some of the most shocking, maybe potentially embarrassing moments of the DNC day 2. You guys drop your comments down below. Let me know. Embarrassing, shocking, whatever it is. Drop your comments. Smash the like button. We're going to go ahead and go into this first one. Bernie Sanders calls out the DNC to its face. He says billionaires on both parties should not be able to buy elections, including primary elections. Let's jump into the vid.
At the very top of that to-do list is the need to get big money out of our political process. Billionaires in both parties should not be able to buy elections, including primary elections.
I'm going to go ahead and rewind that really quick, just in case you guys didn't hear that.
Should not be able to buy elections, including primary elections.
Next one we're going to jump into is Kamala Harris preaches it's outdated, wrong, and backward to think more police creates more safety. Meanwhile, outside of the DNC, we have this full police barricade stopping protesters since they broke through the barricade. And it is a full police task force stopping protesters from continuing to breach the perimeter towards the DNC. Look at all those police officers. Yet, one of her initiatives was to potentially defund the police. Let me get your guys' thoughts on that. Next up, we have Jake Tapper unexpectedly points out that Tim Walz lied about him and his wife having IVF, sending CNN into a tailspin to help rush to defend Tim Walz and the family.
Vice President Harris's running mate Tim Walz is set tomorrow night. The campaign is having to clean up some comments he's made about one of the campaign signature issues having to do with reproductive rights. This is what Governor Walz said on MSNBC while criticizing J.D. Vance. Take a listen.
J.D. Vance knows nothing about that. And then he keeps going into all of these things. Today's IVF day. Thank God for IVF. My wife and I have 2 beautiful children.
Now, that's not accurate, right? I mean, it wasn't IVF. It was a different procedure. And his wife, Gwen Walz, the First Lady of Minnesota, is taking care to tell CNN that they actually used a procedure called intrauterine insemination. IUI. It's a process she described as an incredibly personal, difficult experience. They did use fertility treatments. It wasn't IVF.
Any woman who's
Sergeant Major.
I'm sorry.
Hold on. I want to.
Any one of the 1 in 7 women who goes through fertility treatments, IUI is part of the suite of fertility treatments. It's a step below IVF. It's direct insemination versus creating embryos. I think that is a stretch to say that it's not part of the broader fertility treatment.
The way they explain it is he just talks like how regular people talk.
I mean, my husband wouldn't know the difference.
First of all, my wife did IUI not once but twice, and then we did IVF not once but twice, trying to have a child. And so as a father of IVF babies or whatever, yes, I would call. I mean,
you're not winning if you're making
what? You would say it's the same thing?
I would just, as a man, I would probably mess that up.
Look, guys, this is a head scratcher.
Yeah, but why clean it up?
It's just just have your facts right as you come out and you're going to tell the story. It opens up an opportunity for them to now have to try and bury a cleanup in their convention week in the
but we will have this discussion with J.D. Vance and Donald Trump any day of the week. I get it. It was inartful. It was not accurate. It was not accurate.
Well, the distinction is IVF is not, or IUI is not under attack anywhere the way IVF is, but it is part of the suite of options. Most people begin with one and go to the other.
It is a continual perpetuation of potential gaslighting and maybe cover-ups. I don't know. Let me know. Drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Is it not? A New Jersey man dressed up as a woman announces delegates, then forgets totally what he's going to say, possibly because he might have got kind of caught up on his pronouns.
My name is Dr. Joey Perella, pronouns she, her, hers. I'm a proud resident of the Garden State. I'm proud to stand with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz because they stand with the LGBTQ community. It's time to turn the page on Trump. Thank you.
I'm going to leave that one just right there for you guys. Although this is quite normal, California delegates initially choose to pass instead of casting their vote for Kamala Harris. I thought it was an incredibly hilarious moment. I thought I'd share it with you guys. Let me know what you guys think.
California, how do you cast your vote? Mr. Secretary, the great state of California passes at this time. California passes.
Do something! Do something! The DNC crowd starts chanting, do something. Totally obvious for the fact that their party has actually been in charge for 3.5 years.
You all.
Tim Walz comes out hyped. He starts dancing, looking like Mr. Feeney. Let's go. Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World.
Tim Walz.
Gavin Newsom calls California the great state of Nancy Pelosi before launching a 2-minute, possibly butt-kissing session for Kamala Harris.
My name's Governor Gavin Newsom from the great state of Nancy Pelosi. I come from a state like our nation of dreamers, of doers, of entrepreneurs, of innovators that prides itself on being on the leading and cutting edge of new ideas. California is the most diverse state in the world's most diverse democracy. And we pride ourselves on our ability to live together and advance together and prosper together across every conceivable and imaginable difference. But the thing we pride ourselves most on is that we believe the future happens in California first. And Democrats, I've had the privilege for over 20 years to see that future taking shape with a star in Alameda courtroom by the name of Kamala Harris. I saw that star fighting for criminal justice, racial justice, economic justice, social justice. I saw that star get even brighter as Attorney General of California, as a United States Senator, and as Vice President of the United States of America. Kamala Harris has always done the right thing. A champion for voting rights, of civil rights, LGBTQ rights, the rights for women and girls. So Democrats and independents, It's time for us to do the right thing, and that is to elect Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States of America. California, we proudly cast our 482 votes for the next president, Kamala Harris.
Next up, we got Matt Walsh. Those of you that aren't familiar with Matt Walsh, he is a American right-wing political activist, author, podcaster, columnist. He snuck in to the DNC.
The more they see her, the more they're going to like her. I saw what she did in the Senate. We served together for 4 years. She cared about families. She could work with all kinds of people, and she was effective in getting things done. One of the things she pushed, which we succeeded in, was $35 insulin.
There he is. There he is.
For our senior citizens. Now we're going to get it for everybody.
What's your response when Trump takes credit of that?
Trump takes credit for so many things he doesn't do and gets the blame for a lot of things he does do. He's lost his bearings.
A Democratic member of the Chicago City Council comes out against his own party on live TV, saying the convention was failing. Raymond Lopez is his name.
Democrats winning any new voters at this convention?
I highly doubt it. I think this is all playing to their own base, not trying to recruit new people, because clearly the Democratic Party, my party, is not interested in talking about what matters. How are you going to keep people safe? How are you going to secure the border? And how are you going to deal with the 8 million undocumented individuals that they let in under Kamala Harris's lead?
Yikes. Here's another interesting video clip. Democrats have controlled the White House 12 out of the last 16 years, and somehow everything is Trump's fault, and it is being exposed live on television.
In all these speeches, as good as they were, is that she's in the White House right now.
Fact.
Democrats have controlled the White House for 12 of the last 16 years. And for all of the talk about division and the problems in the country and people are hurting, Democrats have mostly controlled this country. Trump had it for 4. The Obamas and Biden had it for the rest of the time. And somehow it's still all Trump's fault. And somehow she hasn't been at the center of it. So to me, that's still the glaring hole in this campaign that hasn't yet been solved at the convention. How do you explain all of the problems that will be solved by the person who is currently in there for the last 3.5 years, who is supposed to already be working on solving it?
Is it potentially falling? I don't know. Drop it down in the comments below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Kamala Harris and her running mate were not there tonight. They weren't even beamed in for the speech or anything like that. And this reporter actually brings up an interesting point.
I don't think we can underscore how unusual it was that Kamala Harris and her running mate were not here for tonight. They weren't beamed in even watching the speech. And I think that underscores the very deep division still between Barack Obama and Joe Biden, and that the Biden team still blames Barack Obama, and the wounds are still very raw from removing him.
I 100% agree with that. Meanwhile, on night 1, Nancy Pelosi was holding a "We Love Joe" sign. It actually didn't tell the whole story. She was possibly, reportedly, very instrumental to getting Joe out of there.
President Biden did not take the DNC stage until just before 11:30 p.m. Eastern time last night. Thanks to a slew of other speakers, Biden's remarks were delayed. Axios reporter Alex Thompson sharing this text from a longtime Biden aide. Quote, "This is awful. He literally set up a campaign and handed it over to them. Do they have to cut him out of primetime?" Good question. Well, according to Politico, listen to this. Convention organizers blamed it on raucous applause interrupting speaker after speaker. The RNC managed to manage that applause. But meanwhile, once Biden finally got on the stage, he tried to dispel reports of anger and resentment over his 2024 exit.
It's been the honor of my lifetime to serve as your president. I love the job, but I love my country more. I love my country more. And all this talk about how I'm angry at all those people who said I should step down. That's not true.
Well, chanting in unison with that was none other than Nancy Pelosi. Despite reports of acrimony, she now loves Joe too. In fact, just weeks after orchestrating the plot that led to the end of Biden's 50-year career, Pelosi was in the crowd chanting, "We love Joe." She loves him, but she has no regrets about the brutal and cold scheme to take him out.
Have you talked to him? Is my only question.
What I have to do.
Right.
He made the decision for the country. My concern was not about the president, it was about his campaign. As he has seen the exuberance, the excitement that has come forth in our country.
Nobody is questioning the fact that the Democratic Party seems much better positioned right now than it did 4 weeks and 2 days ago. There's no question about that. Former Speaker Pelosi.
So why are we even talking about it?
They put it on my script and made me read it.
What do you guys think? Drop your comments down below. And here is some recent information regarding Harris pulling worse than Joe Biden was pulling the entire time before embarrassing himself before the entire world at the debates against Donald Trump.
Divide and joins us now from the big board. Okay, what does the polling tell us, Steve?
Yeah, I think it depends what angle you're looking at the polling from when it comes to this question of the gender gap. Remember, big picture, the gender gap has been a staple of American politics starting in the 1980 election. So keeping that in mind, what you see here, a bunch of numbers. This is looking at men specifically. And what you're seeing, take you through this, in the 2020 election, Donald Trump, an average of all of the sort of post-election surveys, Donald Trump carried the men's vote by 5 points over Joe Biden in 2020. Now, in the month before Joe Biden dropped out, when he was still the Democratic candidate, Trump had been leading Biden by 12 points among men. And now in the months since Kamala Harris came in and replaced Biden, that's what you're seeing down here. On average, Trump is winning men by 7 points. So from Trump plus 12 to Trump plus 7, Harris has actually, and in the months she's been the candidate, this gap has come down for Democrats among men by 5 points, but still a Trump advantage there of 7. Now take a look at women. Again, in 2020, Biden carried women by 13 points over Trump. Just before he dropped out, Biden was still winning women, but look, the margin was down to 5 points. Harris now enters the race, and you can see she's improved that for Democrats. She's now leading by 9 among women. So Trump on average by 7 among men, Harris on average by 9 among women. Currently, that is a 16-point.
What do you guys think about that? That was a recap of night 2 at the DNC with a little bit of a recap from night 1. Let me know your thoughts down below. Drop your comments, smash the like button, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one.